Hello, welcome back to Jim Bob's greenhouse. Today I'm going to be showing you how to tidy up your mint plants and ready for the growing season. Let's go. So, first of all, you can use, once you've opened up your plant, you could use a fungicide or a spray. I have it handy if I need to. I don't generally use it that much, but I mean, it's useful for treating infections, and when you see the actual fungus, you can use it then, sort of apply when you need to. It's a good preemptive measure for things like roses that are particularly susceptible, so spraying once a month or something. You don't have to, it's not really essential, but once you've got an infection, treat it. So this is what most mint plants look like. I'll take that out. After a year of growing. You can see on the top there, this is very sort of loose and not looking good, basically. It looks awful. What's a closer look? You can see there, it doesn't look great. It's just not looking its best. It's not looking as good as it could. And so what we want to do is getting it to look its best, whilst benefiting the plant's health in the process. Right, so we'll throw these away, we'll discard these. Yeah, I'll just leave them there for a second. So, we're going to take things right the way back. Okay, pruning right the way back to the base. Don't be scared. Okay, have a look around into the plant, particularly with mint. Some trees and shrubs and perennials you can absolutely decimate if you prune them wrong. But most things like mint, will come back quite strong. You want to take out the leggy stuff, first and foremost. There's no real way. A lot of people get very fussy about pruning and they say, look, you should do it this way and that way. Look, just take it right back to the base. At this time of the year, it's definitely the best option. Right back to the base. If there's this year's growth, and you can always tell this year's growth apart last year's growth, and if I get some of this year's growth, this year's growth. Yeah, you can see that. It's very obvious it's this year's growth, little shoots. You can try and keep as much as that's possible, but again, it's not going to kill the plant if you take that off, but please try and keep as much on as possible. But just taking the dead growth right the way back to the base of the plant. Some of these plants don't actually have a base as such, they're all just have a spread. If they're particularly old mints, they might not have a base. This one does, and it has got quite a big base with some big old shoots coming from them that they've already been pruned back, so we'll just leave them. Now this will make your mint look 10 times nicer. It will look a lot more presentable, because right now these look hideous. And it's not all about looks. Certainly it's going to benefit the plant's health more than anything, and it will benefit you, which is also important. You'll have a lot nicer mint, and if you were to leave these, the stems would go very woody, and I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't want to put my name on it if that was my plant. Certainly, if you just leave mint to go wild, it never really ends well for the mint. It usually ends up with you having to throw it out early because you haven't pruned it and trimmed it and looked after it when you should. But, people have different ways of doing things. A lot of people just say just leave it alone, and there's a big attitude in gardening. Just leave it and see what happens, and kind of just sort of, if it grows, it grows. If it doesn't. Well, yeah. But again, there are things we can do to increase success rates of our plants, and certainly to increase the longevity of them, which is a bonus if you're going to have plants for years and years and years, particularly perennials. And you should have perennials for years and years and years, forever, really. Well, it depends, but yeah, generally a lot of perennials you can have for generations. So, here we go. We're just taking out also dead bits. Take any of that out. Dead wood is not good. It can become infected. It rots on the plant. I'm going to be filming a little bit about pruning our peach tree up on the allotment. Again, peach tree is all but dead, really. It's not in a good shape, and so of course anybody's advice would be welcome. I'm going to hack off all the dead bits, have a look at the bark, see which bits are living, and make a decision from there. But I'm hoping that it will survive. A lot of people have said it's dead, it's done for, just get rid of it. Well, yeah, but I want to give it a chance. Right, here we go. So you can see now, compared with what we had earlier, this is all the trash from it here. Compared with what we had earlier, it's a world of difference. Look at that, lovely, clean and tidy. This year's shoots all coming through, fantastic.